Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Pumpkin and today we are here to cover a topic that I see talked about a lot. Anytime anyone in real life talks to me about my figures, this comes up and I feel like it'd be a really interesting and educational video to do, so I've decided to do it. Now, thanks to my wonderful friend Mandy, she has let me borrow one of her items for this video so I can do a complete and full comparison. My idea is to educate people, to make sure people are making like informed purchases, to answer any overall questions, and to help people decide what they would like to see in their own collections. I know some people prefer price points as like their biggest deciding factor, and I know some people prefer overall quality. So this hopefully will be a video to help people learn about the differences and why things cost more and why certain things are harder to find and stuff like that. There will be overall pros and cons list about each that I will do, just general overviews. I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible. So, because this is going to be an overview video, I'm going to cover what we are going to be looking at here. I have collected all of the things of the same character so we can get a really accurate differential going on. I have the Nandroids by Good Smile Company, the 1112 of Shoto Todoroki. I have the Amazing Heroes Volume 2 by Band Presto prize figure of Todoroki. I have the Artifacts J by Kotobukiya 1/8 scale figure of Todoroki, and then my friend Mandy has let me borrow her 372 Funko Pop of Todoroki. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from it. So we're starting from the lowest price point and we're going to work our way up. We're going to look at the boxes first and then I'll show close-ups and do the list. So we're going to start with the Funko Pop. It looks like it doesn't come with any other pieces. There may be like a small circular plastic base in there, I think I see. I'll know when I open it up. But Funko Pops don't have interchangeable parts. Where you get what you see, and that's it. A lot of collectors of Funko Pops that I know like to keep them in the box and just put the box on the shelf. So the stand isn't really useful to them anyway. Mandy did give me permission to open this, so I will be opening this later to look into it.
Starting off, I'm looking at the box and I completely understand why people like to display their pops in boxes. I guess it's because the pops look so similar to each other. The box gives like a kind of uniformness to their displays. I really like the way the box is designed. Opening it up was really simple. There's not a lot of plastic pieces, but then again, there's not a lot of pop. The very first thing I noticed when I took him out of the box was this base. This thing is awful. This is fresh out of the box, like never opened before. That base is messed up. I tried to put him on the base. It was very hard. The peg didn't really fit. It was frustrating. I cut a lot of it out, but I finally got him. First couple things I noticed were there is a lot of paint errors and leftover plastic from where it overflowed in the molds. Part of his eye is not painted, and then part of the eye paint goes down his face. There are like little indentions, bubbles that came up in the vinyl when he was molding, I guess, in some places. The other side of his face, you can see there's more paint errors under the hair. This comes from the pot being put together completely before being painted. So it's hard for the robots that paint these to get under those bumps and crevices since it is all one piece when they get painted. These are also not hand painted. Alright, now the pros and cons list is they have nice box displays. They are the cheapest for collectors. They're easy to find. They are everywhere. There's a lot of options when it comes to collecting them. They have a lot of series and they're very consistent. The cons are the paint is awful, the sculpts are bad and boring, you pretty much get what you pay for, and it's really hard to display out of the box, and it does not match the original character. The reason I say the out of the box part is because he will fall over. This thing is super top heavy, and they fall over super easily on these bad bases.
Moving on to the next price point, we are going to be looking at prize figures. Now, prize figures, I've noticed, are becoming increasingly more available to people in the West, such as myself, from retailers. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the best place to buy them. I've seen stores in the mall, such as like secondhand like card shop stores, or even like Box Lunch, Hot Topic stores like that. They'll carry these, but they sell them for not a very good price, especially if you're already buying stuff from Japan, like shipping things over, and you can consolidate your shipping. It is not worth it because they sell, I think I paid $11, maybe $12 for this from Amiami, and stores in the United States and Canada will sell these for like $25-$30, like flea markets, even conventions. Like the markup typically is stupid, but sometimes if you find them for like $15-$16, totally worth it. That's a good price. Go ahead and buy it. Prize figures were originally in Japan for like prizes. You can get them out of UFO catcher machines, you can win them from lotteries, like stuff like that. They're not the most detailed things in the world, and they are a static figure. I personally like prize figures. That's what I'm trying to get at. When you buy a Band Presto prize figure specifically, or typically any prize figures, you're not going to see any plastic windows on the box. The lower quality figures typically don't come with a plastic window, but sometimes the extremely super big quality figures don't come with a plastic window. I know my Kuklane Alter Berserker version had no window on its box, but that's like, it's a giant box. Like, you'll know the difference. When you open these ones, they'll have this like cardboard cover, and they'll come in a little plastic pouch. Each piece will be in like its own plastic pouch, and you just pull the whole thing out and cut the top off and then take out the pieces and put it together. It's very simple. Not a super whole lot of money goes into that, but you know, it's a prize figure. It's you're paying like $15 for something. So I like prize figures. I have a lot of them. You can't see in this. Oh, let me move this up just a little bit. That's normally where Todoroki sits, next to all the other My Hero prize figures. So
Looking at this figure right off the bat, you can see there are some paint errors, paint flaws. These are also not hand painted, so that's to be expected. The size of the figures are very nice, the poses are very nice, and there's very little plastic residue left over from molds on prize figures, but sometimes you can find some. The plastic used on prize figures also varies. I suggest looking into the manufacturer before you buy one if that is something that would bother you. The pros and cons of buying a prize figure are price. You cannot beat it for the size that you get. It's very good. The character likeness is very well done for the price as well. And typically prize figures come in a series, so you can get all the characters from the series that you want. The cons are they are often overpriced in Western stores and conventions. The paint can be very messy, and there is a lack of detail on these. If that's something that bothers you, I don't suggest prize figures.
anyway, moving on, we're gonna look at the Nandroid. I have this out of the box right now, and I put the pieces in backwards. Nandroids are one of my favorite things to collect personally. They are made from PVC, and there's another kind. So they mix two kinds of plastics. One, the more firm plastic for the little pieces that stray off of Nandroids to make them hold their shape longer, and then a softer plastic for the rest of the body to help them mold together. Like so they don't break. I watched a while ago, they released like a little, like a documentary type thing on Nandroids. It's really cool. I suggest watching it. They put a lot of love and a lot of effort into these. There's multiple runs before them and the original creator or whoever they got the license from are satisfied with all the pieces. Nandroids can different from what I'm about to say, but generally they come with 3 face plates and a couple extra pieces and accessories. Now some Nandroids only have 2 face plates and like a crap ton of little accessories. Some have like 4 face plates and not a lot of accessories, but each one of them is posable and each one of them is very interactive. Like you can pose it however you want. You can put whatever face you want on it, whatever. From the moment I got the Deku Nandroid, I put on his little crybaby face and I just left him like that because I could care less. This one comes with, we can see, actually I'll just do close-ups while I talk about this. All of My Hero Academia Nandroids come with like a sound effect banner thingy. Comes with little pieces for his quirk, an ice piece and a fire piece, and it also has an ice piece to go along the base. Arms and legs are movable and posable, and that's about it for this very first Todoroki Nandroid. They have different hero outfits and different versions available now on pre-order. I think I saw something that I actually will not say in case of spoilers, but there's that one.
Something I forgot to mention earlier is when boxes come with plastic windows, they will typically have the top part painted to make the figure look more valuable. That's also something you get when you pay more money for your figures. This is also a very articulated figure. You can get doll bodies for your Nandroids, playsets, you can buy clothes, you can make clothes, and there is an incredible amount of tiny remit sets that you can get to accessorize your Nandroids. The options are endless, it just depends on how much money you want to spend. The pros of Nandroids are the selection is crazy. They have so many accessories. They have matching display systems. The price is not really that bad for the quality that you get. Good Smile Company will always support you in case you break a piece. You can always get it back. And you directly support the series that you buy from. The cons are the pieces can be small and tedious, and it's easy to lose them, and they cause a lot of anxiety. But I personally would always recommend Nandroids to any collector.
And then the last one we'll be talking about is the scale figure, the Artifacts J 1/8 scale figure. It comes in this box. You can see there's a lot of plastic windows on this box, so you can see what you're buying. You can check it out before you purchase it if you are in person. Onto the negative side of scale figures is they are extremely hard to get a hold of in the West from just a retailer. Like, I don't think I have ever seen... I've seen pop-up parades, which I would count that as a prize figure, honestly, but some people don't. The quality on them is very good, but I've seen pop-up parades in stores, but I've never seen, like, scale figures, unless I went to, like, a specific, like, Korean or Japanese import store. They had a couple scale figures, but that was it, and they were ridiculously marked up, so my best, advice is definitely buy your own and just pay for the shipping. It's a lot better. They are static figures. There are no removable parts or interchangeable parts, I should say. Some scale figures come with like assembly, but once you put them together, that's pretty much how they're going to be. They are very large and the details on them are really, really good. So let's get into the comparison.
Starting out, you can definitely see the difference in paint quality. There are no stray pieces of plastics left over from the mold. Scale figures are typically either finished, hand-painted, or hand-painted entirely, and they also differ widely between manufacturers, so pay attention to what company you are buying from when it comes to scale figures. This one was created by Kotobukiya, which is a really well-known, really good manufacturing company. Scale figures are called scale figures because they are done off of a scale. A 1-to-1 would be a literal real life sized version of that character. So a 1/8 or a 1/7 scale, which is typically what is made, is that character, but at that scale ratio. These can go for all the way up to 1/1s. There are those that exist. They are extremely expensive and extremely hard to find though. The pros and cons list are scale figures are the most detailed you can get. They are the best quality for the amount of money that you could spend, and they also directly support the series that you are buying from. They have the most character likeness, and they are hand detailed more than likely, and they have a lot of variety from a lot of different companies that make them. The cons of scale figures are they can be extremely expensive, and even when they're not that expensive, they're still more expensive than not. There are a lot of fakes made off of scale figures, so you have to be very careful that you're buying from a reputable source. And then things that can be seen as a pro or a con are the size of them and the fact that they are static figures, meaning they don't move. Now we can look at some side-by-side comparisons of figures that are relatively on the same scale. I hear people compare Pops and Nandroids a lot, so I thought this was a good opportunity to showcase the direct differences next to each other. While I was filming, I noticed a weird line across the bottom of the pop that at first I thought it was my camera, but then I flipped it over and I saw that there was just a lot of excess plastic on the underside. So if you were to display this up on a high shelf or something, it would be very obvious that there were multiple flaws on this particular pop. Getting into the more realistically proportioned figures, you can see immediately the difference between paint, especially on the knees here. The scale figure is much more clean, much nicer to look at than the prize figure, but I'm not saying prize figures are bad. I just think the difference in what you pay is very obvious. You can also see differences in the consistency of the color of the paint and how well the paint is blended together on both of these figures. Another detail point I would like to point out is the faces. Now, the face on the scale is better. However, the prize figure face is also done really well for the price, and I think that the face is the most important part of a figure, which is why I typically like prize figures. I feel like the effort they put into prize figures are in the right places for the price that they're trying to get it out to customers at. So here are all of the boys next to each other. I hope that you guys learned something from this video, found it helpful in any way, and I hope that it gave you something to think about when you're thinking about starting or adding to your collection.
And that generally wraps up everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Before I say my goodbyes, I did want to talk about future videos that I will be posting. I want to do a pre-order list look through. I feel like that would be pretty fun. And I also am getting ready to buy another Detolf and set that up and fill it with figures because I have run out of room and I have a lot more scale figures coming. Like I have a specific Kawaru shelf that is so full, and I had to move Ozzy up there because I just ran out of room everywhere else. There are figures that go down here. They're out right now because I was dusting them off, but I want to move him onto the Fate shelf, and I want to move Hyakimaru off of the Fate shelf. Like, everything is just messed up because I don't have room. So, I'm going to be setting that up too. Plus, my boyfriend, ever since I gave him that Nandroid for his birthday, he has been talking about buying other Nandroids, and I'm like, oh, so you're going to buy your own Detolf? And he just smiles at me, so I think I've converted him. But that aside, and my final thoughts on this video are, I hope somebody learned something. I hope you guys gained some knowledge. I hope you guys feel more confident about what you're purchasing for your collections now. And I just want to throw in that my in real life friends that also collect things, I have a lot of them that are very into Funko Pop. So it's just something that's not for everybody, but like me personally, I'm not into them. But if you are, that's totally fine, and we can obviously still be friends. Those are like my best friends I'm talking about. So they have like walls of Funko Pops. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys stick around, and I would really appreciate it if you guys continue watching my videos. So thank you so much for spending this quality time with me, and I will hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.